Hello everyone and welcome to a Factorio tutorial. Today we are going to look at trains. The very basics. We are just going to create one train on one track and we'll automate it. And that'll be enough to get you started where you just sort of want to get ore from maybe a long ways away from your factory back to your factory. This will be sufficient. And that also means we don't have to mess with signals. That's where things start to get slightly more complicated. We're not going to have to deal with them. So to put down your rail, just click and then you'll see a green arrow appear. Click that and then you can just drag and make it however long you want to make it. So we're going to do like that. If you want a curve, just drag up and down. Pretty simple, like that. Now we're going to need a two-headed train because we need to go both directions on this track. So you need one facing that way, and the other locomotive, if you hit R to rotate, will go the other way. Now let's put some fuel in, so get some coal. If you hold Control and right click onto the train, you'll put half a stack into it and do it again on the other one. And now hit Enter and you can go in the train and drive. So you got this locomotive going that way, and then this locomotive will take over for the other direction and you can see the steam coming out. If you want it to go faster, just add another locomotive, give it some fuel, and then you can go even faster because now you have two locomotives taking control. Today we're going to look at a 2-4-2 train. That's just what I like to do, and that means you're going to have two locomotives, 4 cargo wagons, and then 2 more locomotives. So 2, 4, and 2. We're going to make this track a little longer. We'll give it some fuel. And now this train can go both directions on the track. We can hold a lot of ore, and now let's automate it. So now we just take a train stop, click there. So we have that train. We're going to name it copper ore. And we'll make it maybe like an orangier color. We're going to take another train stop and put it there, and we'll name it unload. Now we don't use the stops to schedule the train. You schedule the train by clicking the train itself. So click the train, it'll bring up the schedule here. We're going to add both of our stations. It doesn't matter which order because we just have 2 of them. And now if you hit play or go, it'll go to the copper ore, and then it'll go to the unload, and it'll just go back and forth, and it's never going to stop because we don't have any wait conditions. So let's go back to manual so it stops. Now for the copper ore where we load the train, we want it to wait until it's full, so you just hit full cargo. And for the unload, we want to wait until it's empty. So you just go add wait condition and you wait until it is empty of cargo. If you want to mess around with more wait conditions, you can go ahead and look at what they have. For example, maybe you want to wait till it's empty or 30 seconds has passed. You can also click this and change it to and 30 seconds. But for now, very basic, very simple, this will suffice. So now we hit go here, and it'll stop and it'll wait until these are full, and then it'll go to the next train station. So now it's automated. And now let's look at loading into the train. So you will want inserters to go into the train. And then here's the important part. You really want buffer chests. So you really want a row of chests here that you're going to put, you're going to take from the belt into the chest. That's because when the train is gone, you want it to continue filling up these chests, and the train will load faster from a chest than it will from a belt. Now what I like to do for the belt is I like to take one belt and split it into 2 like this. You'll see a lot of different builds online. There are probably some that are better and more efficient, but I like the simplicity of this, so this is what I sort of go to. And then we can take our power pole and power it up, and then you'll see it'll go into the chest, into the wagon. and then you can just copy and paste that for your 4 wagons or 5 or whatever. You can do whatever you want. You could do a 5, 10, 5 train, totally up to you. This is just sort of what I like to do. So now I'm going to wait. I'll skip ahead until we fill up this train. Alright, so we are almost full here. So once it's full, it will, as long as we are going, it should go, there we go. There must have been another wagon I wasn't looking at. And now it'll stop here and wait till it is empty. So to do the reverse, you're still going to want your buffer chests. So we'll just unload this one. Get our power. And then for a belt, I like to do just the opposite. I go 2 belts here. I'll hit Q to pick that up and go like that. And then I'll have 1 belt. So this will give me 4 belts that I can use. Now a couple last things. This will help you get started. This will get you pretty far on trains, but you do want to eventually or right away automate fuel. So pick one of your stops. You don't have to do it for both. And you're going to want to pull coal or fuel from somewhere. It can get a little messy. It's usually better to do it on the non-unload side. So if I take this, and I'll just go ahead and set it up and skip ahead. Okay, so it'll basically look something like this. And it can get a little messy depending on how close your nearest coal is or whatever fuel you decide to use. But you'll want to just pick one stop and make sure the coal can reach all of your locomotives. And then it'll just make sure it's always full. If you look at your fuel, it'll fill it up. And that way you never have to worry about the train running out of fuel as long as you keep the coal flowing on the line. And then of course over here on the other end of the end of the train, I have a couple inserters to fuel as well. And that's really the basics of train. If you decide you also want oil, I guess just really quick, a simple setup for that is your fuel, or not your fuel, your fluid wagon, and then you'll need a pump to go into it, and you'll see the yellow box, and then you'll want to take it from a storage tank. So just like our buffer chests here, you'll want like a buffer tank, and then of course you'll pump in your oil or whatever fluid, and that'll fill this up. And then on the other end, when you unload, just do the opposite. Take the pump, point the arrow away, and put it into a storage tank. So it's the same concept as this. You're just working with fluid instead of solid materials. So that should be the very basics of train. I hope that helps you at least get started, and it doesn't feel too overwhelming. It's especially helpful because we're not trying to do intersections. We're not trying to use signals. It's just one train, one track, point A to point B, automation. So let me know in the comments if you have any further questions about this. Like and subscribe if you want to, and of course, have yourselves a very nice day.